Welcome to Fluido Moments, our podcast series where we will talk about what's it like to be a Fluidian, what we do every day, and what our culture is all about. This is your backstage pass to all things Fluido. Welcome to Fluido Moments, guys. This is our Fluido podcast for all things about our culture and the way we work at Fluido. And we're doing a whole series of these. And today we're going to be talking about developing skills at work and developing the way that we learn and all of that. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and tell your stories. But for the listeners, I'm Pauliina Löytty, Head of People and Culture at Fluido. And it's my privilege to be here today. So let's start with Riina, because I just looking at you, no other particular reason to start with you, but there you are. So can you introduce yourself and tell us your story? You know, who are you and what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Yes, my name is Riina, and I'm a service lead here at the Finnish office of Fluido. And I've been to Fluido for about 2.5 years now. Before that, I've been doing a lot of business IT related consulting for over the past 10 years. So it's a familiar ground of what we do here. And I had a couple of ex-colleagues joining Fluido, and they told great things about the company. And that's how I came to be here as well.
Yeah, and we're glad you are.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
And how about you, Abby?
Yeah, my name is Abby, and I've been at Fluido for about a year. And my background is retail. I've been doing some sales, but mostly I have been doing an end user and admin kind of role in a different CRM system. So when I started here, I didn't know anything about Salesforce. I haven't actually even heard about Salesforce when I started here. So but I'm a consultant and a project manager here at Fluido.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Good. And you're from our Norwegian office.
I am.
Yes.
I'm from Oslo.
Oslo.
Yes.
All right. So international crowd again. Yeah. All right. So let's then talk about a little bit about the skills we need at work. Obviously, we have a whole host of different kind of people and with different backgrounds and different roles, whether it's developers or architects or consultants or project managers. But Riina, can you tell me a little bit about your team and what kind of skills are we looking for, and what kind of skills do we need in our work?
Well, we have mainly who I work closest with are the consultants, and we have business consultants, solution consultants. So we all, of course, need to know Salesforce because that's what we work with mainly. But of course, all the kind of consulting skills, business understanding, business processes related to sales, marketing, customer support, these type of things are always a benefit. And really the key interest on how organizations work and how different business systems can help with the way of like improving operations and stuff like that. And for the developers and architects, it's really about understanding how different technologies work together, what we can do with different technologies and so on, and how we can utilize those with Salesforce.
Yeah. And Abby, you mentioned you didn't know anything about Salesforce before.
I didn't.
So now now you know a lot after a year, because it tends to happen at Fluido.
Yeah.
But if you can go back in time and kind of, so what kind of skills do you see that you need if you're looking at with fresh eyes?
You need to have the motivation. I feel like that's the most important thing. And obviously that's a soft skill and not a hard skill, because the hard skills you can learn. And I feel like the Norwegian office and a lot of the young people working there, we are quite a good example of that. That you have the drive and you have the ability to learn. But obviously you need to have some technical depth, and you need to kind of be able to understand the business model. But that's something also you can learn. And I'm one of those people that tag along to everything. And I'm just raising my hand like, yes, I will. I can do it. So yeah,
and that's the way to build skills, and that's the way to learn.
Exactly, just learning by doing, all the way. At least that works for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And how about Riina? When you started, did you know Salesforce yourself?
I did not know Salesforce at all. I've been working with different CRMs, different business systems, and all kinds of different systems. So I started from scratch as well. And I did the training, I did the trailheads, and the best practices, of course, through the customer work that we do, the practical doing things for real cases. So, and it's a steep learning curve, but it's the kind of support that you get here from the colleagues, the available materials that you have to learn there's a wide variety of them. So it's up to, I think, the person how well they utilize them and just start learning.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know, but maybe for our listeners, what kind of things do we do to build up skills for people, whether they know Salesforce or not, because there's starting from zero and then they're starting with some knowledge and adding to that.
Yeah, I think, if we take those that do not know Salesforce from beforehand, we have Salesforce offers Trailhead Community, which is a self-learning platform. We utilize that heavily. Even the people that have a lot of experience, when a new feature comes in or something new, that's where they can test it out before actually implementing to a customer environment. So that is a very good self-learning platform. Then, of course, we offer trainings, knowledge transfer sessions during a lunch session, during team meetings, all these different kinds of sessions that we arrange ad hoc also sometimes if we feel that there's an interesting topic that we would like to share. And I think the best part is about sharing with the colleagues in the projects that we do, but also if you ever have a question, just raise your hand at the office and you will always find somebody to help you. So I think that's one of the best things.
Yeah.
About learning.
And Chatter as well.
And Chatter, we use Salesforce Chatter for that. Does anybody know I have this? And you get a lot of answers through it. So very good.
People come up with stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And now going to the Norwegian office, it's a little bit different office only because of size. So in Finland we have almost 200 people now, not quite, but still. And how many are you in Norway?
We are about 20.
Yeah.
So quite small compared.
Yeah. But very close and kind of working together a lot. So tell me a little bit about kind of, you've been with us for a year and you came in and what has the onboarding been like for you and
it has been great. As you also mentioned, Rina, that we have so many people that wants to teach you. So if you raise your hand, then even though you're the most experienced developer or you're newbie, then you always have something to contribute with. And for me, I always just used to raise my hand and go to the senior people and ask questions. And people are so willing to do that. And we also have something called Freaking Friday in Norway. So that's once a month, a Friday. So 4 hours, and then we have internal people joining or external people, and then we share knowledge. We have go live people have gone go live with customers. Then we talk about that. We obviously have people coming to us from Fluido here in the headquarters, tell us about things in general.
Yeah, what was your last topic? Did you guys?
I can't really remember actually what the last one was, but tomorrow on Friday we have the service and the sales lead. Yes, coming from Finland to join us. Okay, really cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I put you on the spot a little bit there because I was myself for some reason involved somehow in the last Freaking Friday. But I can't remember either what the topic
I wasn't actually there because I was joining remote.
So, yeah. So I guess you have to feel it.
I know. Yeah, exactly. It's
to be there. Yeah.
It's fun to be there because it's also like a social gathering. It's not just for knowledge. You meet people and you can ask questions and again, raise your hands if you have any questions. And I'm also like that.
Yeah, and you do learn also through that, I think.
Of course.
Kind of not like an organized way of learning, but just by having coffee with people.
Definitely. Yeah, we also have obviously lunch when everyone works on the same platform, it's hard to not stop talking about it. So we always talk about Salesforce and have you done this and have you done this and this kind of certification. And we have this, it's not a contest, but it's healthy competition inside the Norwegian office for how many certs you have. And then obviously Trailhead. And then, so I'm 2 away from being a ranger. I need to get those 2.
So there's a competition also on kind of who becomes a ranger first, or
yeah, it's mostly inside our care team because Sigrun and Stian are already rangers. So now it's the next one.
You have to get
I know
that.
I do.
Yeah, so a little bit of competition then.
Healthy competition.
Healthy competition.
Yes.
That's a good point, because we're not doing this for just to get points and such. Yeah,
we're just it's just so much fun when you get a badge or if you get a certification. Everyone's just like cheering you up and being your biggest support crew ever, which is fun.
Yeah. And do you feel that we kind of get into this mode of in this environment that we're in, we get into this mode of, okay, I want to learn more, and
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's a trade of a Fluidian actually to be keen on learning new things, and I think everybody here is keen on learning new things. If ever there's a post on Chatter that would somebody be interested in, I could share. There's like tens of hands or raised, so to say, that I'm interested. I want to join. I want to learn new things. So I think that's really one of the major benefits that we have, that everybody's so eager to learn new things. And that way the sharing and the knowledge transfer comes automatically in place.
Yeah. And what I also find is that not only are people keen to learn and share, but or when people are keen on learning and sharing, that's it's sort of trait of a true expert organization. So, if you know your stuff, you share, and you want to make other people, or you want to build other people up as well.
Exactly. It doesn't hurt to share the information. It doesn't make you more valuable to keep it just within yourself, but actually to share it makes you even more valuable by sharing the information that you have and all the new things that you've learned.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to not know everything, which is perfect. Like for me, like as quite a newbie, I love that I can raise my hand and say, like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you please elaborate? And people are so happy and helpful and willing to do that. So it's also a good trade.
And I think that's a good point, that the platform is such a big thing that you cannot even master everything on it. So you need to start in one corner of it and then expand your knowledge through experiences and just tackle one thing at a time.
Yeah. And then, of course, everybody has experience from, like you have experiences of other CRM systems, or it could be industry knowledge or some process knowledge that you just bring onto the table and then make it work on Salesforce.
Exactly. I mean, we have very different backgrounds with the people that we have working here. And of course, the common denominator after they've been at Fluido is the Salesforce. But we have so many different backgrounds coming from management consulting, business consulting, technology, coding, and all these different aspects. So I think it's a richness for us as well, that we have so many different experiences in the background that we can contribute in the customer work that we do.
Yeah. And if, seeing as what we're doing here, talking about our culture and so forth, so we've obviously built this culture of learning and sharing and so forth. So our values, do you, or how do you think they support?
I feel like we're living the values every single day. Like there's so much trust in this company that is like unbelievable. Do you trust, or Fluido trust that I do my job? And if you trust that I do my job, then I'll do my job good. And friends don't let friends down. That's a massive one as well. You're never alone, ever here, which is perfect for at least someone that's new. I feel like you can raise your hand and you have that kind of support behind your back, and no one is ever going to let you down here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I think usually when we talk about company values, it's something that, it may be written on the website, but it's not that often seen on the everyday life at the office. But I was really surprised how it is here. And I think it's one of the strengths that we have. Friends don't let friends down. We believe in superheroes, people really doing amazing things and learning new things in the customer work that we do. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you have those stickers. So I love stickers. So I have them on my computer. So we got it at boot camp, and I just having them there, and I look at them every single day when I open my computer. It's perfect, because even though we live and breathe those values in Fluido, it's just good to have a reminder, because sometimes it's easy to just focus on the two and then forget about the rest. So it's a good way.
Yeah, you need all five to kind of
exactly
have a base for what we do. Yeah, and I also think, when you have a safe place where you're trusted, like you said, then the learning and the sharing and all of that comes naturally, because you want to do it. You're not afraid to do it. I really liked what you said, that it's okay not to know stuff as well, because a true expert also knows that you cannot know everything all the time.
You know your own limitations. And what I hear often from the people working here is actually that what they like as one of the biggest thing is that you can be yourself. You don't need to be in a specific mold that you should be in an IT consulting company, but you can be yourself. And that really shows. People are kind of free to be themselves, and that shows in everything that they do.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually asked our people just a few weeks ago the meaningful things for them at work, and two things stood out. One, for me, there's obviously many things there, but few things stood out for me. Our values were in the top 10; those are meaningful for our people. But also this, I can be myself. That came out, not only because we've got people from different countries and backgrounds and so forth, but also that you feel safe here at work. And then meaningful work also that came out. So
we do work with some amazing people and customers. So it's definitely meaningful.
Yeah. Do you think our customers, how do they see us?
I think they see us as really, or from my experience, think they see us as a really positive group of people. And I think they also know that it's not okay to know everything, because sometimes I say that and okay, I will find this out for you. But I also then know that I don't have to just ask 20 people. I can ask almost 300, as we are in Fluido in general, which is like chatter you mentioned. And it's like a perfect example. You can ask anything and people will know. And I think that customers, and they know that one way or another, they will find an answer through us, but maybe not right now. So I think that's really good.
Yeah, you get one of us, you get 300
exactly
of us at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the customers see that we bring value to them, and the latest things that I've heard, that they see that we are having fun at work. We like what we do, and that shows also to them that we like what we do, and we are friendly. We get along, and it's not, we do things seriously, but we don't need to be too rigorous or serious about it.
Yeah.
And we talk each other up. So if we go into a customer meeting and you know that someone has certification in Service Cloud, you're like, this is our Service Cloud expert. And you're really yay, well done you, which is really cool. So then the customers obviously know, and they pick up on that kind of, that we're backing each other up all the way, not just here, but also out when we're out with customers, which is really good.
Yeah.
So,
and it is important. And if somebody, introduces me as the Sales Cloud expert, I need to step up,
exactly.
don't I? Yeah. So that gives me the urge to kind of be the expert.
Yeah. But a lot of the times, I think we need to remember also we know more than our customers. So.
Yeah. And that's what they,
perfect.
That's why they asked us to work for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be an expert in knowing everything. But it's just a fun way to kind of express that.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let's see what you're doing.
So let's do that together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think also that they value that we are interested in their business. So we ask a lot of questions. Why do you want this? And why do you want that? How does it operate at your end? So that we can really build the best value with the systems to them. So the feedback that we've gotten is that we like that you just not do, but actually ask and challenge us in the way that we think about things. So that's really good.
Yeah. Again, sharing,
yes, caring as well.
The whole thing. But then going back to the building your knowledge and building your skills. So obviously we just don't let our people just, go for it and learn anything you want. So obviously there has to be some sort of structure around it a little bit. And Salesforce, that's fine, but that's a little wide if you just say go learn Salesforce. So Rina, I know we've been working on this together. So can you tell us or tell our listeners a little bit about kind of how we structure the learning also?
Yeah, we have different ways of doing it. And I think it all starts from the individuals and their wishes and wants, but also matching the company requirements. Where do we need more skills, or in which area do we need more knowledgeable people, and so on. So it's a little bit of a or a puzzle that we need to put together. And we make yearly plans for people on skill development and their personal development. And we take into account what the person is interested in, and we try to match that with the work that they do so that it supports the learning. And then possible trainings that we organize either internally, we might send somebody out, and then they, in return, teach everybody else at the office in regards to a certain topic. And we also have some subject matter expertise in the house who then share a lot of the information as well. So it's a big thing for us, because what's in our heads, it's the value that we can give to the customers. So we really focus on the individuals and kind of their plan for their own development, and try to support that, and also align it with what is going on with our customers and with Fluido.
Yeah, and we need to listen to what is needed and what's going on the market or with the product. And
exactly, if there are new different areas coming along that we do not have a lot of experience in, we try to see, okay, where do we see how much of the knowledge do we need to gain, in what time frame, how many people should we train for that, and so on. So we are looking at these all the time as team leads here at Fluido. So,
Abby, looking at your plan that has been done with you. So, I don't want to say what's in it, but can you kind of like what has the process been?
Yeah,
for you
exactly. Well, it kind of started out, so go to the admin course. So I came here and saw you.
Yes.
And you taught me the admin course. And then I took my admin certification after 2 months. So that was kind of like the first step, take the admin. And then my focus, I wanted to go into Sales Cloud because I have experience from sales. I know, like, for me, that was the best kind of stepping stone to start there and then work my way up. And so I'm reading for the Sales Cloud certification now. I have the app builder certification as well. So, yeah.
And you've sat down with your team lead, and you've gone through the plan.
Yes.
And
we have set up a plan to kind of when I'm going to hit the next step in a way. But then also we're not as big as the Finnish office, so we don't really, like, for me at least, I didn't see the whole picture of the whole, you need to kind of learn this. It was kind of like, okay, where do you want to learn? Because that was for me, like, I don't want to be an architect. So for me to be put into like, okay, now you're going to learn this. Like, I didn't want to do that. So, but I have the flexibility here to actually go into, I want to go into Sales Cloud. Perfect. That's what you do.
And that is really important.
Yeah.
And that's what you said, whether we do this individual plan.
Yeah, I think that's important, because otherwise, where does the motivation come if it's not there from the person themselves? So learning is tough if you don't have the motivation for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's, I kind of started out my first 3 months just doing trailheads, a lot of them, just because they're so easy and so good. And so, I don't know, I feel motivated as well.
Yeah.
That, so,
and then you kind of go with that. Now we've been talking about the hard skills quite a lot. You mentioned the soft skills a little bit, but what kind of soft skills do you, Rina, see that people need at Fluido?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
That is a tough one. And I think it relates to the role that you have. We have some that are more customer facing than others. And of course, people skills and kind of soft skills in general are needed when you are in consulting. You need to be able to read people. You need to be able to build trust with very different kinds of people at the customers and kind of convince that, yeah, you are good with me. And kind of mirroring the people that you're working with and kind of bringing the value that you can bring into the situation. I think it's very important to read, okay, what should be done now? So reading people, having different tool sets to do that. And, it's difficult, but for those working in the customer interface, I think it's really important that you get along with people easily and you are able to efficiently communicate what you want to say, I think, and ask a lot of questions. Be interested in, because that makes people wanting to share as well.
Yeah, it feels like it's also about being positive. Because we're so positive here. Walking in these halls, it's just like everyone's smiling and hi, welcome, and everyone's just so friendly. And I think that's also a massive trait that you have to be nice to fit in here. You have to just be positive.
Yeah, and then that translates into positive environments where customers and want to share and we want to make everyone succeed. Yeah,
being like positive and motivated. Also, it's not a soft skill in that way, but it's just something you need to have here. You need to be motivated because we trust. So if we trust that you are motivated to read this and this and learn this and this, then you kind of have to do that.
Yeah, and work must be fun.
And work must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's one of our values, and it doesn't mean jokes and think. Well, actually, what does work must be fun mean for you, Riina?
For me, it means that I enjoy what I do on a daily basis. Of course, there are some random things that you just need to do. But when the majority of your working time goes into what you actually enjoy doing, that's fun. Of course, it's nice to have the parties and all these kinds of things. But when the majority of your day is actually something that you like to do and wake up in the morning, yes, I get to go to work. That's the best thing about it.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. Yeah. I love going to work. Yeah. It's so much fun.
And the parties and the cookies and the things pool tables are nice, but by themselves,
if the work is not meaningful for you, they don't help. Yeah. I mean, that's the basic thing about it. So
you spend so much time at work as well. So you have to have a good time. And as you said, not just the parties, but have fun. And sometimes in the office, if you're like super stressed out and you have a lot of things to do and you see that everyone's just like, they need to do something. And you're just like, okay, is no one in the meeting? No? Okay, cool. Then you turn up a song that everyone loves really high. So everyone's just like, and then you have that positive, kind of kick. And then you sit back and then you're like, okay, I feel good now. Yeah. And then you have a little dance party and then you go back to work. And you kind of need that sometimes.
Yeah.
Get a little kick.
Shake it out a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's fun.
I enjoy you hear a lot of laughter in the corridors at the office. So that's a good sign, I think, that people are having fun and the mood in the office is positive, like you said. So
yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. And then again, going back then to kind of, you feel motivated to be here and to learn and do all of that.
You feel safe.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way of putting it also. So now I want to ask you both the question that I asked from everyone. So if we look at, your time at Fluido and I'm sure there's lots of cool things here, but Riina, what's your Fluido moment?
Well, I think one of them happened last year at our company day, where just random people having discussions with, I got great feedback of kind of the way that I've done things and worked with people. So people that I've worked really closely came to me with a lot of great feedback, but I also had very nice feedback from people that I haven't worked very closely with. So they just heard or have heard or seen that things are working nicely. So that was really heartwarming and almost made me a teary eye to hear that. So it was really, really great.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about the superhero letters? Or?
Not only that.
Not only that.
No, I actually had like live conversations with people where they did give a lot of good feedback. We were talking about different projects and then also team leadership and these type of things. But the superhero letters are fantastic way of kind of giving credit that you wouldn't maybe say on an everyday basis, but that really makes you stop and kind of think the positive things that everybody is offering.
Yeah. And now we have to tell the listeners what are superhero letters. So we ask people from the office to give feedback to everyone. And then they do. And then we compile a personal letter out of that. And you get that delivered in our company day. And then you get to read all the greetings from your colleagues. And they're always super great. And it sometimes bring a tear to your eye. So, yeah.
I have one. I have mine hanging on the fridge. Yeah, at home.
Yeah, I read mine when I'm feeling low for some reason. So I go back to it. It makes you feel good.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah. How about you, Abby? What's your Fluido moment?
So many things that have happened in this past year, but I think a couple of weeks ago we had our Christmas dinner or New Year's dinner in a way, and then I got the award for Freshman of the Year 2019, and that meant a lot to me. I was like, I almost get like emotional talking about this, but it's like, it's one thing to have your customers saying that you did a good job, but then your work family is telling you that I appreciate you, I know what you're doing. That's really good. So yeah, I have that at the office. I look at it every day. And it's just like a really nice, I don't know. It meant a lot to have that. And I was competing, not competing, but friendly competing with a lot of nice people at work started in 2019. And that I was selected to be the Freshman of the Year was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, feedback and kind of positive reinforcement and giving thanks and appreciation. That's always really important.
I don't think that it was only the customer work that I was kind of like the basis for that award. I think it was just like, being positive and helping out.
And all the little things that you do in the office. I was there visiting one day, and I was just sitting back thinking, I wonder if people see how much you do, like tweaking this here and fixing that there, and so all of that is small stuff, but really, really important, and then just as important as the big stuff, like doing our kind of skill mapping and things like that. So different skills, but all contribute to this big thing that we're doing. So
definitely.
But I really want to thank you guys for coming. It was a great conversation, and then I also need to say that we can watch this episode online. We have a website called fluidomoments.com, where you can see not only this one but also the other episodes that we've done.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.